Grazing as a practice, whether it's in a standalone grazing enterprise or grazing within a mixed farming system, is by far the biggest land use practice undertaken right across the catchment. So if we can make change or improve the way we're actually grazing right across the catchment, it's obvious to see the significant improvements we can have to natural resource outcomes. But the bottom line is we still need to be productive and profitable in the way we are grazing, and there's enough people out there undertaking grazing systems that are achieving significant natural resource outcomes, but are also allowing them to remain profitable and also increasing productivity and profitability on the farm.
The Lachlan CMA got involved in this project because we had a key community group in mid-Lachlan Landcare that was interested in doing something, and so we had someone to work with, and that group already had a network of graziers that were changing their grazing practice and other people that were new to the game and were wanting to do stuff.
I mean, CMA is involved because they view grazing as a land use practice where you can achieve significant natural resource outcomes, whether it's maintaining ground cover to prevent soil movement and erosion, promoting species diversity on the property, leading to significant soil health improvements. Ultimately, if we undertake better grazing management across the broader catchment, we're going to have significant improvements in our water quality moving down our creeks and river systems.
The Growing the Grazing Revolution is about connecting producers and graziers with other producers, going out and having a look at other people's places, talking to people who are already putting those practices in place on the ground, getting more confident about making changes on their own place. And it's a partnership between the Lachlan Catchment Management Authority and the Mid-Lachlan Landcare Grazing Group.
The Growing the Grazing Revolution is made up of a board, or overseen by a board, consisting of a Lachlan CMA representative, Mid-Lachlan Landcare representative, and also 6 graziers from the local area. We use a number of techniques to try and achieve a better understanding of grazing management and what grazing management can do for our catchment health. Some of those activities range from utilising a number of peer support leaders in the area. They graziers have been probably running a fairly good grazing system over the last 10 to 20 years, and we utilise them for their knowledge and also conducting field days. We get people travelling from all over the catchment and from outside the catchment as well, and we find it's a model that can be right across the country, and I'm sure there's some very successful groups out there now doing quite similar things.
One of the key things from this Growing the Grazing Revolution review looked at what is one of the successes, and one of the successes is the facilitator. Probably the key things to come out of that is Scott's actually a well-respected grazier within the region. He's a really good communicator. He's a fellow who invites people and chases them up and encourages them to come along. He's very good at putting very good groups together so that people feel comfortable. In a way, you could call him he's embedded in the community, and it's those sorts of principles that make these sorts of supported learning projects really valuable and workable and successful. He's not an out there, unachievable person. He's actually a fellow who's doing it already and very well recognised and received by the community.
Yeah, I've known Scotty for probably about 8 years or something like that, and I know his program because I've been out to his place fairly often, and I thought, oh well, I'll get Scotty out to have a look. From then, he came out and had a look. He's been out here 4 or 5 times with different ideas and different people, and we've drawn up a program.
We're trying to cater for a wide range of people, from very advanced grazers, which we call our mentors, to people who have done holistic management of some description, to people who have looked over the fence and decided, well, it's worth having a little bit of look at, to people who are pure farmers. It's a really mixed audience we're trying to target, but I think it's been quite successful in encouraging anybody to be involved. If they're just willing to put their hand up a little bit, we're willing to talk to them and encourage them to move forward.
What surprised me about this project, I guess, is the enthusiasm, from Scotty and the CMA and the Landcare, and also the people, the response that, just putting someone in the position that he's in to organise things, that he's had a tremendous amount of backup. It's from the people that want to change, and also the people that can help change. I think the benefits are going to be longer, far more reaching than possibly what we see at the moment. I think it's going to really carry on because that network system is going to get bigger and bigger and expand more and more.
I think the key learning is that when you're trying to support a group of farmers through change, you have to realise that they're all changing at different rates and that they're all starting from different places. And just because some landholders were able to see the benefits of some change systems 10, 15 years ago, doesn't mean that there's not also another huge suite of people who would also be as enthusiastic about that change if given the same opportunity. The other key learning that's reinforced is that many of us pick up information in groups. We tend to listen and learn in groups. But when it comes to really internalising that information and turning it into action, we tend to do that individually. So we need individual help, one-on-one help, to make those changes happen.
So the Lachlan CMA has had an independent evaluation done on our broader grazing program or projects that we run across the catchment. And the Growing the Grazing Revolution project was identified as one of our key successes in all the grazing projects that we've rolled out.
One of the key things that came out was that both the Mid-Lachlan Landcare group and the Lachlan CMA had identified a real need amongst producers who'd received incentives through the CMA, who'd received training through Mid-Lachlan Landcare and through the CMA in the past, to have some sort of support going forward to make those changes. So to give them some confidence that the things that they were thinking about putting in place on their farm would be quite possible and quite achievable. And to do that, they really needed a supportive network around them of like-minded producers who were already putting things in place, and they wanted to be able to see those results on the ground. And I think this Growing the Grazing Revolution project has delivered that in spades.
The successes so far is, the way I see it, is that we're introducing more people to this way of thinking, and I can see that the project with Scott and the board is really pushing along in the right direction, and I would hope that it would even go further than this, that it's not just our local Landcare area, but it could progress right through the state and the nation.